Good evening and welcome to the January 26, 2026 City Council regular meeting. Thank you for joining us. Deputy City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Councilmember Murphy.
Here.
Councilmember Watton.
Here.
Councilmember Holloway.
Here.
Councilmember Washington.
Here.
Councilmember Cotton.
Here.
Councilmember Christensen.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
So please join us in standing and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Murphy, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See you next time.
Council, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilmember Washington, seconded by Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those approve say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Move on to mayor's appointments for commissions and committees. Tonight, I am appointing commissioners to the Arts Commission, Maria Hurley, Yiju Miller, to the Economic Development Commission, Christina Hudson, Paula Shively, Adrian Webb, to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, Selena Duan, Lori Hay, Richard Anderson, and Kelly Coughlin, and to the Planning Commission, Daryl Lambert and Andre Testman. Council, may I have a motion to approve these appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Johnson, seconded by Councilmember Washington. Is there any discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Councilmember Johnson, I believe you have Mayor Pro Tem appointments to make.
Yes, I don't suppose we get those up on the screen.
We have.
Email.
I do. I'll stand by.
It's just a minute.
Okay, so I don't want to read down through the entire list. I think that we can all read. They are in order from position 1 up to position 7. And there are two things that I want to mention. The first is that the first time it says Snoqualmie Tribe should say Snoqualmie Tribe alternate, and that would be Councilmember Holloway. And then there's a second Snoqualmie Tribe that would be the main, for lack of a better term, which would be Councilmember Christensen. So in the past, historically, the liaison assignments haven't been something that we vote on formally. It's just, that's what it is. So there is another part of it, though, which is if we scroll down just a little bit further, for lack of a better term, I called these two positions endorsements. I don't know if that's the right word, but technically, it's not the mayor pro tem who assigns someone, and thus it is so with regard to pick. Rather, it is the city comes up with a determination for whom they would like to send to represent the city with pick. And for the main, for again, lack of a better term, primary maybe, then my recommendation was Councilmember Washington. And then there is an alternate as well that is left open for discussion here, there is someone who has expressed interest in that position, and that was Mayor Mayhew. I didn't feel like it would be appropriate for a council member, mayor pro tem or otherwise, to assign that position. Rather, I wanted that to be something that we could have as a bit of a discussion. I don't have any specific opposition in mind as to allowing the mayor to fill that position, but I wanted to open that up to the council if there was opposition to that, or if someone else wanted to step forward into that position. And if not, then we can, I would take that as an assumption that the mayor was acceptable.
Did we have an alternate last year?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Councilmember Washington.
So we had an alternate last year and sorry, I just had a question. You messed up my train of thought. Here it is. Do we need to make that decision tonight, Mayor Pro Tem, or is that something you're willing to have a discussion on in the immediate future?
I think that it would be, unless there was concern over the primary, I'd like to at least get that one, get some consensus around that, and perhaps as an alternate, if there's a desire for further discussion, I don't see a reason that has to be rushed and done tonight.
Councilmember Murphy.
Thanks. Just to kind of get me up to speed as the new person here on the dais, can you help me understand how we've traditionally apportioned the pick roles, whether they be the primary or alternate? Is that something that has been traditionally a council member's prerogative, or something that the mayor in the past has also participated in? Just so I understand some of the history there.
Mayor, can I respond?
Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you. So I'd also turn to some of my other council members who have filled that position as well to perhaps either correct what I'm about to say or add some more insight. But I just say that it's been a little bit of a mixed bag either way. There have been times in the past where the mayor has filled in that position. There have been times in the past where city council members have filled that position. Most recently, it has been council for the last few years, at least.
Councilmember Christensen.
So as long as I've been on council, it's my understanding that it has not been the mayor to date. And when I first stepped into pick, I had initially had the conversation with Mayor Mayhew, who at that time was on city council and was the member. And at that point I was the alternate. And then I've been the member since then. I don't remember having conversations with the mayor about it previously, the previous mayor. It was my understanding that it had been a council decision. So maybe we should ask the prior mayor pro tem to weigh in on it, because maybe there are conversations that I wasn't a part of.
Councilmember Holloway.
Couple of things. I believe prior to at that time, Councilmember Mayhew, Mayor Matt Larson attended the pick. So it's been a mix of representation. To answer your question, Dan, we all have regular jobs that pay our mortgage. So it's usually when somebody says, I can do that, you're in. Shortly thereafter. And the trick is getting to somebody who says, I can do that. Okay, so it hasn't been a struggle to get positions filled. If anything, there have been occasions where positions have gone unfilled. And I believe prior to Mayor Larson, that position from Snoqualmie was probably unfilled. Okay. Correct. Most of the pick representation from us, with the exception of Mayor Larson, has been council. And I think most of the representation today that you see on the pick is council members. But there's no hard and fast rule. Okay. The other one I would like these liaison positions do represent the city and the council, so they are subject to discussion and if need be, a vote on these positions. Okay, this has often been a vote. It hasn't not been a vote on these. So again, let's not go lightly into this. This is council and city representation, so it should be taken with due consideration. I think that was the points I had in my head. Did I miss anything, Kara, that you?
No.
Okay.
Any further discussion or a motion to approve the recommendations or appointments by Mayor Pro Tem? Councilmember Washington.
Yeah, so I just kind of follow up on the alternate position for pick. Is there a discussion or is there anyone who would potentially be interested from the council? I'm sorry, Councilmember.
Oh, sorry, Councilmember.
Okay. Councilmember Murphy, potentially?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
have some interest.
Okay. Yeah, I know that you definitely have a background in public policy and public issues, so you know that definitely could bode well. What are your thoughts, Mayor Pro Tem? Sorry, just a continuation.
I just wondered if the mayor had thoughts.
Sorry,
Let me run the meeting. That'd be great. Yeah, Councilmember
just a
Johnson.
follow up.
Yeah, I'm also curious if the mayor had anything to comment on at this point.
I would just say to the council, what I think is fantastic is if we can get involved as the electeds of Snoqualmie in regional government, the amount of money that is funneled to city governments by the regional government organizations is a lot bigger than many people realize. Our involvement there directly influences how much money comes directly to Snoqualmie. And I would say the more involvement by electeds, the better, and I would applaud and support any of us that can get involved. And so if folks have the time and can do it, I encourage us to do that. Councilmember Christensen.
And another thing too, and I know I brought it up in the past as well, is that if you're ever interested in attending the PIC meetings online, you can attend with a link. It's a great opportunity to learn things. The networking opportunities are always open. And again, you know, once you're familiarizing yourself there, you can also apply to the additional regional committees, which gives you more of a voice as well as the option to get additional funding, which is why I harp on it so frequently, folks. Would love to see more folks there. But you can appear at most of them online or in person as well.
Councilmember Holloway.
So then are we at the position where we actually have two candidates for alternate?
Sounds like it.
And should we, well,
Take a vote.
I'll motion Dan Murphy as the alternate for pick.
I'll second it.
The appointments in the city council rules of procedure, those appointments are made by the mayor pro tem. So maybe the mayor pro tem would be interested in making that appointment.
Okay, then,
Motion.
Councilmember Johnson.
all right, then I would motion to have Councilmember Murphy fill in the pick alternate.
Second.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the appointments made by Mayor Pro Tem, including the alternate to the pick?
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, the appointments are approved. Now we'll move on to public comment on items not on the agenda. Comments on agenda items will be taken later in the meeting as we come to each agenda item. Public comments are taken in person or in writing that may be submitted in person, by mail, or by email to cityclerk@snoqualmiewa.gov. Quickly, a few ground rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes each. Please come forward when I call for speakers. Please come forward to the podium, state your name and city of residence for the record. Direct your comments to the council as a whole and not to individual members. Council members, staff, and I will listen to your comments and consider your input, but we will not respond during this meeting. Would anyone like to speak to any concern that is not on the agenda tonight?
Mayor, real quick.
So I'm Jesse Scroop.
Hold.
Sorry, yeah. I just wanted to be
Councilmember
recognized.
Johnson.
Thank you. I was just wondering, maybe I just didn't hear it. Did you mention that we're not taking online comments, that we're only taking comments here?
By method of exclusion, I stated what we would take.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just want to make it clear. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Jesse Scroopa. I am a resident of Snoqualmie. Good evening, Mayor Mayhew and members of the City Council. My name is Jesse Skarupa, and I'm speaking on behalf of Snoqualmie Valley Indivisible, a local grassroots group with 1,100 members from the communities in Snoqualmie, North Bend, Fall City, and unincorporated King County, some of whom have joined me here. First, I want to say thank you. We genuinely value the strong, respectful relationship our community has with everyone here, and we appreciate the way you approach public safety and community trust thoroughly and collaboratively. I'm here tonight to respectfully request that the city proactively evaluate its policies and preparedness if ICE activity were to increase in the Snoqualmie Valley. Recent federal immigration enforcement actions, including in Minnesota, where innocent observers have been shot and killed while exercising their First Amendment rights, have drawn intense national attention. Our members are upset, worried, and uncertain about what similar federal activity might mean for a city like ours here in the Snoqualmie Valley. The reports and reactions to these events have created genuine concern about local preparedness, as well as a desire for clarity on what policies are needed if immigration enforcement increases. Across the country, cities are reviewing policies to ensure that local governments are not improperly used as staging grounds for civil immigration enforcement. One example is Providence, Rhode Island, where the city adopted policies clarifying that city-owned property cannot be appropriated for civil immigration enforcement operations, such as staging or processing. These policies clarify the position of the city while still respecting the rule of law and judicial warrants. To be clear, we do not seek confrontation. Washington State already provides strong guidance around local non-cooperation with civil immigration enforcement, but we ask for more practical and preventative actions. One, a review of how city-owned property, facilities, and resources might be misused in immigration enforcement scenarios. Two, clear guidance for city staff and departments so expectations are well understood in advance. And three, modest policy updates that ensure Snoqualmie is never unintentionally used as an operational base for federal civil immigration actions. Our goal is simple: clarity, preparedness, and community trust before future ICE engagements in our valley cause confusion or uncertainty. A high priority review of relevant city policies would demonstrate the city's commitment to transparency, public safety, and to ensuring that all residents feel safe engaging with local government and city services in city spaces. We welcome the opportunity to support this work, including sharing research and examples from other cities or helping facilitate community education. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and for your continued commitment to the betterment of the Snoqualmie Valley. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Skarupa. Thank you, Mr. Skarupa. Are there any other individuals who would like to address council?
I'm Christy Coffey, and I live at 8054 Maple Avenue Southeast here in Snoqualmie. And I'm just going to piggyback on that as a resident, and I am a member of Indivisibles as well. It's a frightening time in the nation. The immigration policies we know are inhumane and unjust. People are being killed, immigrants profiled, victimized, brutalized, characterized as illegals, when in fact they are undocumented, which is a civil violation under U.S. law and not a criminal one. To be considered a criminal, an undocumented immigrant must first have committed a crime that is unrelated to immigration status. There are a few exceptions where being undocumented can be a criminal offense, but even so, all undocumented persons who are detained have a right to humane treatment and due process, which we are not seeing. We are not seeing that happen. We often see deportation with no attorney-client contact and many times no trail as to who they are and where they have been sent. So it's kidnapping. Many folks in our community are afraid to call the police or fire department for fear of repercussions. One woman I know said she will not call the fire department or the police for love nor money, not unless her house is burning or she is dying. She said she is afraid. She is afraid that there will be repercussions. The citizens feel unsafe, unheard, and unprotected. Protesters are now domestic terrorists, and we who are standing up for ourselves and protesting, we feel like we're alone. No one's coming to help us. No one's coming to save us. We're on our own. So my question for the administration is, You know, what is your statement? What is your stance on ICE in our community? Because they will be here. They've already been in North Bend several times. And what can you do for the citizens? Knowing you can't impede federal law, how can you keep us safe? And will you do training for citizens, which is being done in many communities? And will you take a stand? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coffin. Are there any other speakers that would like to address the council? Please come forward.
Hi, my name is Jen Good. I am a Snoqualmie Valley or Snoqualmie resident as well. I piggyback on what Jesse has said and I missed the lady's name, but what they said as well. I implored the council to have a policy and procedure ready for when ICE comes. I was a resident who was impacted by the flood, and as the river rose, there was nothing I could do but be prepared. ICE is coming. Whether they come to us or not, we don't know, but all we can do is be prepared. So having a procedure, policy, and way to help your citizens would make me as a resident, and I think other residents, comfortable as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Good. Any other speakers tonight? Please come forward.
Hello. On a lighter note, but also about community. So my name is Deborah Landers. I'm in North Bend, and I'm representing North Bend Art and Industry and the Snoqualmie Valley Center for Creativity. If you don't know where that's at, it's just down 202, right on the border of North Bend and Snoqualmie, right across from the playfields. And I'd love to see you guys there to see how we're creating this maker space for our community. So I wanted to do a couple things. We've got some new programs coming. Actually, they're here, new programs for 2026. But first, I wanted to share a little bit about 2025. We have, out of our community that comes to the makerspace, about 35% of the participants are from Snoqualmie, 45% from North Bend, and the remaining from other zip codes in the areas, as well as Issaquah. We do several free programs. One is a makers meetups and club nights. That was every other week, every other Wednesday in 2025. It's very popular. We had about 600, actually more than that, 714 people come throughout the year. But it is doubling because we're going to be now doing that every single Wednesday. We have a teen maker meetup every Thursday, 2:30 to 5:30, where teens can drop in, do several art activities, as well as some science and technology opportunities. Last year, we started it after we had moved, so we started it in April. And nevertheless, we still had 144 participants. And if you know about teens, it's hard to get them in. It too is growing in popularity. We are just starting a short person's meetup, and that is for 6 to 10-year-olds. That'll be on Sunday afternoons. I'm going to pass that around on just a moment. That's again every Sunday. Other things that we do that you should know about. We do 2 festivals in the Snoqualmie Valley, one in North Bend and one we kind of rotate around. One's in the summer, Art Off the Rails, one in the winter, Artist Sunday. We also did our first open studio tour last year in September. We'll do it again this year. That included the entire Snoqualmie Valley, but primarily the artists that were participated in that were from Snoqualmie and North Bend. And we do a free art supply swap every year. That too is in September. So just really quickly, I'm going to pass around a couple of the new things. The Curious Creators for Kids. We just revamped our writers group, which is every other Tuesday. I'm going to pass those around. I'm also going to pass around our February happenings because we have a lot of very cool classes and happenings. That's it. And goodbye. Have a wonderful new year.
Thank you, Ms. Landers. Any other speakers tonight? Please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Andre Tessman. I'm a resident of Snoqualmie, and I'll be brief. I just want to reinforce the comments that have been made concerning potential ICE operations, likely ICE operations. And I wanted to be specific in some of the recommendations of the actions we hope to see from this council. I would hope and request respectfully that the city of Snoqualmie disclose whether or not we use flock technology, and if so, how, and if that's shared and with whom. I would request that that the city explicitly state its commitment to protecting the constitutional rights of all residents, including the right to peacefully protest, and that the police department will act as a protective force for those rights. Explicitly state the city's commitment to the Keep Washington Working Act, express its commitment to the well-being of all residents regardless of status, and to outline definitively the city's planning for all foreseeable contingencies associated with stepped-up ICE operations. We've seen from the reporting that during ICE operations, vehicles are left running, sometimes not even in park, valuables unsecured, children unattended. So just a range of potential contingencies. And so it's easy to get caught in the idea that, you know, we're suburban out here and that this stuff, you know, it's frankly more likely to happen in Queen Anne than Snoqualmie. But the fact of the matter is, cities like Highland Park, right, prove that ICE will come and do what we've seen. So we just ask that the city be prepared. I just echo those sentiments, and I appreciate the council's attention to this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Tessman. Any other comments?
I'll just echo what many of.
Please state your name and
That's
city
right.
residence.
My name is Mike Zuver. I'm a resident of Snoqualmie, 9 years now. First off, this is the first time me being here, and I would like to thank everybody on the council for showing up and participating in our local government. I'm sure a lot of times you're thinking about things that are, you know, like the nuts and bolts of how a city needs to work. Some of it's probably a little more boring than others, but thank you for doing that. I'm sure most of you weren't anticipating facing this existential threat to our community. I never thought I would. It makes me sad. It makes me angry. It makes me anxious, and I see it in my family. I see it in members of our community, and it upsets me. And I want to be part of addressing those issues. This is how we can do this. We need to be an example as a community that values our residents wherever they come from, whatever their status is. And I would just ask that you be thoughtful about this and firm about your statement that you put out publicly, because it will help people in our community who are struggling with fear and anxiety as we speak, to know that their elected representatives have their back and that we all have each other's backs. So thank you. And thank you for letting me speak. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Zuber.
Okay. My name is Karen Rocco, and we do own a home on Maple Avenue, but I am in Snoqualmie, unincorporated King County. But I would like to speak more to the fact that I taught at Mount Si High School for 34 years. And I wanted to speak a little bit to the impact that ICE has on our students. I worked with several students who had undocumented family members, and it is incredibly stressful to them. We have students here who are couch surfing, trying to get their education. They are working. One of a student that I recall wanted to join the military and then found out that he was not eligible because he was not born in this country. So I saw that you had some little committees. I didn't pay attention then as I was thinking, but I did see one for Snoqualmie Valley School District. I will also be speaking to the school board regarding my concerns. So hopefully we can work together as a group and make sure that our students and our young children and our young people feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rocco. Any other wishing to speak tonight to the council? Just because one person had questioned, I'll just let those in attendance, let everyone know. The city of Snoqualmie does not use any technology that involves flock cameras or flock technology. So, all right. With that, public comment is closed, and we will now go to some of that perhaps more boring business. And you're welcome to stay, but you're welcome to leave. That won't cause us to take your comments any less seriously if you move on with your evening.
See you, David. See ya. Take care.
All right, moving on now to the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains approving the city council meeting minutes dated January 12th, 2026, approving the claims report dated January 26th, 2026, Agenda Bill 25-126 regarding the 2026 to 2031 Parks Property Levy Tax Levy Agreement, and Agenda Bill 26-001 regarding Sunnyside Interlocal Agreement Addendum. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Watton and seconded by Councilmember Cotton. Is there any discussion? Sorry, excuse me. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda before we move on? Seeing none, is there any discussion, council members? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to committee reports. Under Public Safety Committee, we have Agenda Bill 25-127, Independent Force Investigation Team, King County, IFIT CM. Public Safety Chair, would you please read the introduction and motion?
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. This is AB 25-127, Independent Force Investigation Team, King County IFIT. And the introduction to this is the city of Snoqualmie and other East King County agencies have an interlocal agreement to conduct independent force investigations with King County IFIT KC. An addendum to the agreement is being proposed to allow the city of Seattle PD to join IFIT KC. And I move to authorize the mayor to sign the proposed amendment agreement allowing the city of Seattle to join King County IFIT. And this is something that we've been a part of since 2017. And Chief Horace will.
Motion to
Do you want to?
approve by
Yeah,
Councilmember
second.
Watt. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Holloway. Is there any public comment on this item before we discuss further? See none. Is there any discussion at any council member discussion? Councilmember Watton.
Thank you. I'll pick up. Back in 2017, this came together with agencies across King County, and Chief Horace will bring us through the whole gamut of what's happened and evolved, and now due to some arrangement with the city of Seattle, they have now come out of an agreement where they were working with the federal agencies to ensure that, and I'll let the chief explain that.
Chief Horace.
Mayor Mayhew, council members, I'm interim Chief Gary Horace. I'm here to talk about the modifications to the interlocal agreement for the Independent Force Investigation Team, King County. I'm going to refer to it as IFIT King County or KC going forward. In March of 2021, the city of Snoqualmie Police Department entered into a agreement with the following entities for independent force investigations: Washington State Patrol, King County Sheriff's Office, Bellevue, Duval, Kirkland, Clyde Hill, Issaquah, Lake Forest Park, Medina, Mercer Island, Redmond, and the University of Washington Police Departments. State law requires that if deadly force by a peace officer results in death, great bodily harm, or substantial bodily harm, an independent investigation must be completed to inform any determination of whether the use of deadly force meets the good faith standard and satisfies other applicable laws and policies. It requires that such investigations be carried out completely independent of the agency whose officer was involved in the use of deadly force. The City of Seattle and Seattle PD seek to join the IFIT KC as a member agency. The chiefs and sheriffs of the member agencies have met multiple times with Seattle PD and are in agreement that the IFIT KC team would benefit from the addition of Seattle PD. They bring with them investigators who have extensive investigative knowledge and resources such as their crime scene investigation unit. All 14 agencies have presented or are presenting this contract to their councils. 8 have passed it as of January 22nd. I'm here for any questions you may have, and thank you.
Any discussion, council? Councilmember Holloway.
I guess I did want to stress the point you made in committee that for this action alone of bringing Seattle into IFIT, it is believed that the resources they bring offset any additional costs that their participation brings. So at least on that single issue, it's a net zero.
Correct. And to answer your question from public safety, I reached out to the King County or the Seattle captain who runs the investigative force team there, and they are looking at adding 10 of their staff to our to the IFIT group, and basically will offset and have an average of 4 investigations per year as stated, and that was over the last 6 years.
Okay, see no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Is there any further report from Public Safety Committee?
None at this time.
Is there any report from the Community Development Committee?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
Is there any report from Parks and Public Works Committee?
Not tonight, sir.
Is there any report from the Finance and Administration Committee?
Yes, we have one item, which is the flood recovery and financial update. There it is. And I don't think that there is a specific motion for this. So I believe that this is something that Finance Director Hay will walk us through.
Director Boutte.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember Johnson. Appreciate all the council members here tonight. Thank you. I'm Drew Boutte, Finance Director for the City of Snoqualmie. The goal tonight is to address one question that was asked of us fairly recently, about 2 weeks ago, and that question was asked by Councilmember Holloway. How do we plan to account for the costs of the flood event? Well, so far the Finance Department has posted any sort of costs that we have incurred as a result of this flood event to our reserve fund. Now, you may be asking, well, why the reserve fund? Well, we've established a reserve fund to maintain and provide money to the general fund and other funds when necessary in order to respond to unexpected events such as economic instability, such as a recession, public emergencies, or cash flow issues. And we have built this into our financial management policy. The reserve fund is there for a rainy day, and we certainly experienced that back in early December. Now, the reserve fund over time has been typically funded through transfers of unrestricted cash from the general fund when sources of cash exceed uses of cash within the general fund. In addition, the interest earned from investing our reserve fund proceeds cash helps to really supplement those general fund transfers over time. Now, as a result of this flood event, we're going to be drawing down our reserve fund balance. However, we plan on coming back to council at a time in the future to provide you with a proposal to replenish that reserve fund with options, and that will be presented as a part of the biennial budget process. With that said, I'm just going to let you kind of take a moment. Hopefully you can see this on your screens to kind of soak this in right here. But we've got a table for you that kind of describes the flood event cost, what those assistance we might get from the federal government as well as state, potentially some insurance recoveries, and then what we might end up with by the end of this year that we will need to focus on in terms of replenishing.
Councilmember Watton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boutte. Refresh my memory what our reserve fund is that's set forth in our financial policy.
So the
What
reserve
percentage?
the percentage that you're referring to is between 15 to 20% of our general fund ongoing expenditures.
Okay. Follow-up question, if I may.
Councilmember Watton.
And that is, okay, we've drawn it down by 20%. So where does it leave us after this before? Well, I guess we're drawing it down by 200,000 once and I presume that the federal disaster assistance is pretty spot on.
There's a lot to go through in order to figure out. So these are estimates, and I just want to stress that right now at this point, because what we have done recently is we have submitted our preliminary damage assessment to the state at this stage. They have started to review our materials. We've only received one question, which is good. They actually said that the work that we provided them was outstanding, which is fantastic. But right now, what I've got in here is just an estimate at this stage. In essence, they're going to look through, we've documented as much as we can, but in some cases they're looking at the causality. If the flood caused, right, the infrastructure to, for example, fail or things like that, they'll want to make sure that that is a solid link between the two, between the flood event and any sort of public facility damage that we experienced overall. So what I've got right there is an estimate for you.
Councilmember Murphy.
Appreciate this. Appreciate this analysis. I guess the question I have relates to that 401,000. In my understanding, from some of our friends in other municipalities who had to deal with the bomb cyclone, had a really hard time getting that federal disaster assistance, and I think some haven't even received that yet. So I guess my question to you is that do we feel confident in that 401,000? And I know we're in probably a similar boat with other municipalities too, but my fear is that that could be zero for a foreseeable period of time.
So if I could, Councilmember Murphy, I don't want to put staff in an unfair position in that the truth of the matter is we don't know any better than you do. I cannot give you an assurance that we'll get anything back. There are processes. We are following those processes. Emergency declaration was made by the governor and by the president. But the way things are going, especially with FEMA, that we could follow all the rules and simply one day just be told you're not getting anything. Or we could be told that we'll get everything that we're estimating here. These estimates are based on following the rules and what the rules would tell us we should expect to get. We'll see what we ultimately do. And so all we can do is commit to you is that we will keep you updated every 2 weeks while we go through this process. And by the way, we've also received indications from our state legislators that they might look to try and assist. So we don't know. You saw we put that line item on the schedule, but with question marks. And so we'll just have to see how this goes. And I wish I could give you more assurance. I wish the staff could give you more assurance, but we can't. What we can tell you is that we will report to you every 2 weeks, keep you updated on how this is going, keep your expectation as current as ours is. And as we get into the budget process, so that'll be, as we get into the summer, we've got a better idea, then we'll come to you with options of how, based on what we think then, what would be the options for replenishing this fund if we're not able to replenish it from external sources. So we'll be transparent with you, we'll keep you up to date, and we'll have to go through this together would be my point of view. Councilmember Murphy.
I'm completely understanding of that, and I'm not trying to put anyone, this isn't supposed to be a gotcha. I think this is just an understanding of, I guess, worry on my part and seeing what we're all seeing, like, and some of our local neighbors is having a really hard time going out and getting what has traditionally been pretty non-controversial disaster assistance from the federal government. So I appreciate that. The updates will be forthcoming and anything of that nature. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilmember Washington.
Yeah, no, I think it's an excellent question, Councilmember Murphy. And I think it's an excellent explanation, Mr. Mayor. You know, we talked a little bit about this on the FNA. We don't know, and we're not going to know until we know. So at this point, it's just a waiting game. And like the mayor said, you'll continue to inform us. So thank you, sir.
Councilmember Holloway.
With this $400,000 out, what's our reserve percentage now?
I don't quite have that number with me today, but
Homework question.
homework.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yeah, I just encourage us to keep maintaining our fairly healthy emergency funding for these kinds of events, for the possibilities that we're all talking about. So this is why we have it. And then we're going to have to refill it somehow. Let's just make sure that we refill it because things happen. One of the things that I'm nervous about is we've had apart from this event, we've had a relatively dry winter. It's been somewhat on the warmer side. Historically, I don't have any sort of crystal ball or anything, but historically that has been followed up in February or March with a huge dumping of snow in a small amount of time. And that can have all kinds of other implications. So, yeah, there you go.
All right. Any further report from Public Safety, from Finance and Administration Committee?
No further report.
All right. Under Committee of the Whole, we have a list of legislative priorities. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, you have the floor.
All right, and excellent. And they are up there. So this is substantially what the council has seen before. Last time that we went through this, which was, I believe, October, November, somewhere in that range, when we last went through these. Couple of things that happened at our last FNA was we reorganized some of them in terms of, although not explicitly stated as being in order of priority, but perhaps it could be implied if not otherwise stated. So if someone were to read this as being a list of priorities in order, that this might better reflect the order of priorities than what was in the version prior. Also striking the amount for the 5 million in the community center expansion because we do not know what our current needs are. It could be double that. It could be half that. I don't think that we really know. So putting a specific number there, while it has made sense in the past with prior proposals and things were on the table, at this point, it doesn't seem appropriate to ask for a specific amount when we don't know what's happening with that currently. Let's see. Then another thing is that down at the very bottom, this is a couple of minutia things. I don't think that our legislators are going to care about our council priorities reference lists. So whatever final form this takes that actually goes to them, I'd recommend that we strike that. But it's good to have there while we are developing this to refer to. I just would want that probably not be there in a final version. A couple other things. We removed actually, I believe that this was actually at the last council meeting. So just reiterating a change that I think we all had agreed on. was removing the interchange itself, since that is effectively done for all intents and purposes. There are a few little things that don't really impact traffic much, apart from, I guess, final paving. But that's not something that we need to continue asking for funding for. But the widening of 18, absolutely, I believe is still a priority that most of us probably share. And then one other last bit of minutia here is just a request to staff to, when we send this to our legislators, if staff could request, not direction, but just clean it up to make it look nice and uniform fonts, etc. Okay, so that was, I think, everything that I wanted to say off the top of my head. Council.
Was there any motion? Councilmember Johnson.
Move to adopt the legislative priorities as expressed in the agenda packet.
Moved by Councilmember Johnson. Is there
I'm
a
sorry.
second? Oh, Councilmember Johnson.
With the amendment to strike the council priorities.
Moved by Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second? Councilmember Holloway.
Second?
Seconded by Councilmember Watton. Is there discussion? Councilmember Holloway.
So this is not only for our legislators. This is for ourselves too, as we get into those conversations which may go afield of these particular bullet items. That is why those references were on the bottom. Okay, so I agree not having them sending it to the state. Have no problem with that, but I think as a document in and of itself, that should remain to remind us what we've stated as our priorities to go focus in on. So I guess I don't support the motion to strike those, but I do support not sending them to the state.
So I think your motion that's on the floor is to approve the list as amended. So did you want to amend the list? Did you want to make a motion to amend the list?
I believe his motion was to do the list as shown without the reference section as submitted. I guess my sub motion to that is I motion that the references be left on, at least for internal consumption.
It would be helpful. I'll ask the deputy city clerk to read back the motion.
Yes, I have the motion to adopt the legislative priorities with the references stricken from the document.
Yeah. I sub motion to have the references restored, at least for internal consumption.
Is there a second to the motion? Councilmember Holloway's motion.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Christensen. Any discussion? Councilmember Johnson.
I hate to make this as a motion, but to strike the word for at least. Because I feel like it creates a, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be explaining why. And
Scribner's.
Is there a second to Councilmember Johnson's motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Watton. Any discussion on Councilmember Johnson's motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, going back to Councilmember Holloway's motion as amended. Any further discussion? Councilmember Johnson.
yeah, I think that I agree as long as everyone understands what was being requested. I think so. Essentially, my understanding of what the motion is that there would be essentially two documents that are being created here. One that would actually go to our legislators with the council priorities stricken, and then there'd be another document that would be kept separate that would keep them there for our internal notes. As long as I'm understanding that, fine, and that's what this is, then I'm supportive.
Councilmember Washington.
Yeah, that's just where I'm a little lost. So we would keep the references, the council priority references, as Councilmember Johnson mentioned, as strictly internal work product. That the thought? But
Yeah, go with it.
okay. Okay. But then sending to the legislators, we would exclude that section. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Councilmember Holloway's amendment, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Nay. Councilmember, so going back to the original motion as amended, Councilmember Christensen.
Thank you. So under public safety, we had increased funding for crisis intervention training. I know that King County had proposed to cut funding to the crisis intervention training program. I have a very vague recollection that they may have put that back on. So we may want to have the police chief speak about that at public safety to kind of massage this. I think that we're still going to want to make sure that we have the appropriate amount of funding in place and that we can go forward with getting our law enforcement folks equipped with these tools, because that puts us as well as the other agencies in the best position possible, especially since we may be seeing more and more crises, unfortunately, as we go forward. But we may just want to tweak that a little bit and maybe send it to public safety, unless public safety's already dealt with it.
Councilmember Cotton.
I appreciate that thought. And the, what I believe Interim Chief Harasi did present us with the fact that because of, it was initially cut from the police academy training, that was definitely from the Police Chiefs Association, a strong recommendation to reinstate that so that all officers coming out are getting trained with that. I do not know specifically that the funding has been, all of it's been put back in. So I can't answer that part of it, but I know it's definitely been a concern.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yeah, if you all can catch me up on the police pursuit section and specifically where it says eligible to pursue auto theft and some property crimes. And I wasn't, I guess what property crimes would we be referring to in terms of just enhanced police pursuit?
I don't believe that's been addressed.
Councilmember
Sorry.
Cotton.
Sorry. I don't believe that's been addressed specifically, what all the examples of that might be.
Councilmember Johnson.
Move to strike and some property crimes.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Murphy. Is there any discussion of that motion? Councilmember Holloway.
So I think there ought to be consideration of some property crimes. I do think it ought to be taken back to public safety for maybe clarification and elaboration on it, but I wouldn't take it out right now. Let's get that clarification and elaboration from public safety and then bring it back.
Yep.
Councilmember Watton.
I concur.
Councilmember Johnson.
So I guess I'm of two thoughts here in that there's a part of me that's very aware that this legislative session is going by fast. This is a short session, and waiting until our next council meeting to adopt this would dramatically limit its effectiveness, which is already pretty limited as it is since we're already well into the session. So as I said, I'm of one mind that I would really like to get this out there for that reason, that there's still a little bit of daylight left and I wouldn't want to lose out on that. But then there's another part of me that's feeling like perhaps the sun's already set for this legislative session as it is. And it's really neither here nor there if we push this off for a couple of weeks to refine some of these items, as we probably should if we're going to send this to them. That said, just because we may not get this to our legislators in time for consideration for this legislative session, doesn't mean that it is not something that they wouldn't be able to look at over the course of the rest of the year when our legislators still do other kinds of work in preparation for the next session. And some of them will still be there in the next session. Some may or may not. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's sort of where I'm of two minds on this. And I think the council just needs to just take into account the fact that the legislative session is going by pretty fast. Waiting a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Anyway, to adopt this would have some effect. But then on the other hand, perhaps that's kind of already a ship that sailed, and perhaps that's not so much of a concern at this point, this late in the session as it is.
Councilmember Holloway.
two points of discussion was not to postpone while that elaboration and clarification went on. It was just to do that so that this can proceed forward as is. I would rather the legislature, if they have other property crimes that they wouldn't consider, I'd rather they consider them. We can get specific which ones later. But to take it out may not spark a thought of maybe there's something to consider. So recommendation was to leave it in as is, clarify it. Second point is this should be a living document. So as we go through and get more focused in on areas or potentially have other priorities, we bring this back and have discussions of how do we change it to meet today's need versus yesterday's need. But as far as today, no, I don't think we should hold it up while we do that clarification, nor do I think we should take it out just in case it does spark a thought in state legislature.
Councilmember Murphy.
I think it's important to be specific when we give our asks to our legislators. So I think when we have language that's not quite precise, I think that's what gives me some pause on this. Understanding though that, right, this legislative session is roaring by. So not wanting to hold anything up and making sure that like our priorities, Highway 18 expansion, other things are on their desks as soon as possible. So anyway, those are my thoughts.
Councilmember Watton.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I agree that this is a living document that will get better with time. It's something that is more of a headline, realizing that in King County, there are 39 different cities with different priorities, and this helps to highlight them. I would like to refine the affordable housing. We've had many discussions around it. I think workforce housing is incredibly important. We have about 5,000 employees and 4,000 of them roughly commute in. And I think we talked about it in many sessions here in the previous council is we need more local decision-making around what affordable housing is achievable. And I'd like to see some more language in that, but I'm not opposed to taking what we have today and moving forward with it. It's just, I think we need a little more refinement in those asks. And perhaps we can reference the current bills that are being considered. But at this point, we have a working document in front of us, and I'd like for us to push forward with it, knowing that we're going to make further refinements to it.
Council members, if you could just hold on a moment, please. Councilmember Johnson, I believe that we're working with a sub-motion right now, and I just wanted to clarify what that sub-motion was.
So, as in what my last motion was?
Correct.
Okay, was to strike and some property crimes from the police pursuit section.
All right, so just that you're all clear, that's the matter you're discussing now, then we'll go back to the main motion as not amended. Councilmember Christensen.
Mine will hold until the next.
Okay. Any further discussion on the sub-motion? Councilmember Johnson.
Yeah, I appreciate the thought that's being put into this now. Excuse me. So there's the possibility that our legislatures could see that and it could spark some inspiration, possibly in a good way, possibly not. My fear has been for a long time, ever since the legislature started talking about police pursuit, has always been a vision that I have in my mind of someone steals $5 worth of batteries from one of our stores, and then we have an 85-mile-an-hour, 90-mile-an-hour police chase down the parkway. We've got families that are crossing the street. Yeah, that's just the vision I have in my mind. So if there's a specific thing that we're interested in, I think that that's what we should tackle. But leaving it wide open, that sparks that vision in my head.
Councilmember Watton.
I believe if we look deeper into it, it would have to be a substantial amount of theft. And I believe the threshold is $750, not $5 on a pursuit.
Councilmember Johnson.
My problem is that's not what it says here.
Any further discussion on the sub motion? All right, all those in favor, Deputy Clerk, could you read back the sub motion?
I have the sub-motion moved by Councilmember Johnson to strike the wording under police pursuit, to strike include auto theft and some property crimes.
Nope. It was, I'm sorry, Mayor.
Councilmember Johnson.
It was only and some property crimes.
Understood.
All right. On that motion, Councilmember Washington.
Yeah, I'll just add a point that I've had some conversations with a specific legislator around this piece. And I know that in the 2018, 2019 session, there are a lot of reforms that were done to police pursuits for various reasons. And, you know, I agree with my colleagues that we owe it to the legislature to try and be as specific as possible. I'll leave it there.
Councilmember Watton.
Thank you. Now I'm reading it again. Police pursuit. Further expand crimes eligible for pursuit to include auto theft. Dot. So we're still talking about expanding crime eligible. We just haven't defined what it is. Are we really talking about striking that whole item on police pursuit until we have something? Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
As I understand it, the motion is to strike the words and some property crimes.
Is it redundant? Expand.
All right. Moving to a vote on that motion to strike those words. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Do a roll call vote. Councilmember Murphy.
Aye.
Councilmember Watton.
Nay.
Councilmember Holloway.
Nay.
Councilmember Washington.
Aye.
Councilmember Cotton.
Nay.
Councilmember Christensen.
No.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Yep. The motion does not carry. So now we move back to the main motion with the wording as you see. Any further discussion? Councilmember Christensen.
Assuming that we're going to move forward with this, which it sounds like we will, I would then request that we look at the increased funding for crisis intervention trainings. My understanding again is that the funding has gone back in, and I would propose that, is it up right now? Or can I get it pulled up?
Is that where you would like it, or where would you like it?
No, at the increased funding for crisis intervention training, please.
Under public.
I'm sorry, where was that?
Under public safety.
Yeah, there.
There you go.
Okay, so can you highlight starting at King County, please?
Right here?
So my revision would be, well, I'd move to delete the following language. King County has proposed cutting funding to the crisis intervention training program at the police academy by 75%. And then delete it through the 90 students per year. This way, the request would read, every agency in the state is required to have 25% of their staff trained in crisis intervention training, period. This training protects residents and our law enforcement officers. Going on, that we would like the funding not only to be maintained, but increased. I think that with that revision, it should be appropriate.
Moved by Councilmember Christensen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Holloway. Discussion on Councilmember Christensen's amendment. Councilmember Watton.
I like it.
You're just all short little things to add.
All right, see no further discussion. All those in favor of Councilmember Christensen's modification say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. We're back to the main motion as amended. Um, And one thing I'm unclear on, perhaps some council member could clarify. Are you moving forward? Are you asking administration to move forward with communicating this, as you said, keeping the two documents? But are you asking us to move forward now? Or are you asking us to wait for a public safety committee meeting further?
That was not the intent of my motion, my discussion.
Okay,
It was to get that clarification, but to proceed with what we've got.
great.
And that was reinforced by the motion to leave those words in, as we said.
Good. I just wanted to be clear. All right, further discussion, Councilmember Christensen.
Just the request that when it is communicated to the legislators, that we also be copied on it so that we can follow up as we should be as well. And then just also obviously put it on nice letterhead and, well, all of the things, right?
It's the fonts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilmember Johnson.
I lost how many dinosaurs deep we are.
We're at the top dinosaur.
Okay.
At the top
Thank you.
dinosaur.
Do dinosaurs go on top? We're at the base dinosaur, perhaps.
Big dinosaurs, big and little.
Yeah,
biggest
the very big one. Okay, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there any further report or discussion from Committee of the Whole? Or Pro Tem?
No.
Right. Brings us to the mayor's report. A few things to let you know. We are moving forward with a lot of things. We have a job posting now up for an associate planner, a position that you all approved and funded. Also for communications coordinator. We are obtaining a temporary support for our city clerk position. We have just hired a Parks and Public Works technician, so an open position that we filled. And so lots happening. HR is very busy. We have some community events coming up. Cops and Cones with our police chief. And Chief, you're going to have some officers there as well. That's Wednesday at 4 o'clock at Snoqualmie Ice Cream here in downtown Snoqualmie. And then on Saturday, Cops and Hops at 5:30 at the Snoqualmie Brewery, also downtown, although I'm informed by the chief that the police officers will not be partaking of hops. But please do feel free to attend, and please do encourage anyone you know. I think this is a great chance for community to interact with our police force. And especially the Wednesday event with Cones with some of our younger community members. So we're looking forward to it. We're also going to, in the next week or so, have a coffee with mayor. Looking forward to also doing future events where we might do coffee with council members, or we'll mix it up a bit with mayors and council members and cops. And also I think the two chiefs are planning something. So we're trying to get a lot more community outreach going, involving not only us electeds, but also our chiefs. I want to let you know the U.S. 8th Congressional District Representative Kim Schreier was in Snoqualmie this past Friday, meeting at the Northwest Railway Museum to discuss flood impacts. We discussed, Mayor Miller from North Bend was there, as was I. We discussed not only the impact to the railway operations, which was somewhat significant, and some of which they won't fully know the extent of until the summer when things dry out a bit and they see kind of what gets revealed. She was very interested. She did some touring, asked a lot of questions, clearly very interested in supporting flood recovery efforts and understanding what the impact was to the community. And we did share with her the importance of our FEMA submission. She committed to helping as much as she could in that regard, and kind of emphasized the importance to our retail community of messaging that we're fully open for business in Snoqualmie. We need folks to know that and keep coming, support our local businesses. So both our local residents support our local businesses, but tourists as well. So we shared that with her. Let's see, wanted to let you know that the Sound Cities Association Board and Committee orientation is on Wednesday, February 4th. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. Any of you can attend, whether you're applied to join an SCA committee or board or not. It's a fantastic networking event. It's one of the best events of the year. Encourage you to go. I unfortunately cannot attend. I will be out of the state, but strongly encourage you to go. As we discussed earlier, and as Councilmember Christensen mentioned, the more contacts we have at regional government, the more chances we have to bring funding here to Snoqualmie to help with things that we're trying to accomplish. And so I strongly encourage you to involve yourselves as much as you can. And I also want to tell you that last Friday I had the privilege of attending the oath of office for Robert Thrall, our legal assistant and city deputy city clerk, who became part of the bar. So that is what I have for the mayor's report. Are there any council liaison reports? Councilmember Johnson.
This actually goes to something that we did earlier tonight, which has to do with the appointments. There is an opium disbursement thing that we're supposed to do with regard to, I believe it was a settlement or something. But so, excuse me, that has not been formally set up by the city yet as to how that's going to proceed. When that does occur, I do have a name in mind for who I'd like to appoint for that, someone who's been working on that as it is. But I didn't feel it would be appropriate to appoint someone to something that doesn't exist yet. Just want to let you know what that is.
So if I could, we have been spending some time on that administration, planning to come back to you during this next cycle with some information on that and plans how to move forward. Please let us know. I am already aware of community individuals in the community who have either expressed an interest or who have been approached and asked to participate in that process. So if there's any others, please do let me know so that can be part of what I bring back to you or what is brought back to you here in this next cycle. But we'll start moving ahead with that very soon. And I am aware that Councilmember Cotton has been assigned by the council as your liaison to that process. Any other liaison reports? All right. There being no further business on the council agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Johnson, seconded by Councilmember Watton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.